Hi there, it's been a while. Today we've got something different. We've got a little 26 pin to 44 pin converter. The reason being, this has been sent to me by someone called Stephen Jones. You'll probably know him. He does all the Checkmate digital stuff. So all the Amiga 3000 cases he started off with. He used to run a company back in the day called HiQ, which done all the Siamese stuff. Google it, it's quite interesting, but I gather if you're watching this you're into the Amiga scene and you know about Steve. So anyway, Steve was going to send this to one of his friends that are in with doing this Checkmate project, but don't know what happened, but he ended up sending it to me instead. But this is the drive. If you've been watching his videos, it's out of the little Toshiba laptop with the orange screen. So yeah, it's a bit of a rarity, a 26 pin to 44 pin converter. Is it 44 pin or 40? Sorry, I'm thinking about hard drives. 34 pin. So yeah, it's interesting. I've had to buy the converter from China. It's the only place I could get it really. They're not that expensive, a couple of quid, so I've had to wait on that for about a month. It injects, the way it works is it injects its own power into the connector, so there's no separate power on the back of the drive. It injects its own via this, so you've got to just basically loop back round into this and feed the drive. I have initially started this up, and all it was doing, let's just switch it on, let's just plug it into the USB. So the light comes on, and initially this was spinning like a nobody's business, really fast, and it still spins quick. Now I'm thinking straight away it's possibly a cap problem. I've got to strip the drive down yet, but I pushed that a little bit and it stopped spinning on its own. I think the other problem was a sticky drive. You know, you got the drive rewrite switch there, and then you got the drive insert and eject switch there. This is just basically a toggle to tell the PC, I nearly said Amiga then, that the disk's been inserted. So as soon as I press that down, you'll see the motor on the bottom spin. So it would be reading discs, and the head would seat back to 0. So straight away I've noticed that when I push that, that is running way faster than it should be. So straight away I'm thinking it's a cap issue. The second problem, like I said, I've had this undone just for initial inspection, just make sure this worked before I even make a video, because again I didn't know if the 26 pin converter would work anyway. Again, this is like a bit of a shot in the dark. Alright, yeah, just leave it there. Just leave it there. My girlfriend's come in and given me was it a ham and cheese toastie? Thank you. Love ya. But yeah, again, if you've watched some of my videos, you'll notice this. Now this hasn't seeked all the way back to track 0. This is your track 0. Would you call it a switch? I suppose you call it an optical switch. Try and get a view of it. So on the side of this drive, this little black piece here, it does nothing. It connects to this head, and as the head's moving backwards and forwards down the drive, when this little black L piece, you can just see it, slides into this is your optical reader. That tells you that head has moved all the way back and it's home. So this is track 0. So when you're repairing a drive, again, look at my other videos or whatever you're watching on YouTube or whatever, that is when they talk about track 0. That's where they're on about, and for the drive to do certain functions, that needs to be back at 0. And as you can see, it's not. It's halfway between reading the disk. So my second guess is that motor's seized. So I think what I'm going to do first is the drive light's on, which is telling me it's trying to seek home, and I think I am going to try and give that motor a little bit of a nudge to see if it does anything. So I'll just get, I mean, you can use anything, but use something a bit polite so you're not scoring the drive wheel on there. You know, you need to be a bit careful. I know it's solid steel, but you know. Alright, let's just see if this springs into life. I'm thinking it may well be seized. Got nothing. That's really hard to move as well. Right, okay. Just switch it on and off, see if that moves. Nothing. Just try and spin this back. The only other thing is there's a bearing housing in there, and that can get sticky over time. And maybe that bearing housing's sticky and the oil's gone off, so it may well be keeping that still. But yeah, it's really hard to move. Let's just switch it off because it might be fighting against me. Just gently edge it. Don't try and put your screwdriver in the grooves, because that's where the little plastic tab on the bottom goes. Let's just move it all the way back. You might end up scoring that channel. So do it on the back where the drive doesn't, the little worm drive. Sorry, the little clamp doesn't go. I think that's home. So what I'll do is I'll turn this back on now. The drive light's still on, so no, it needs a little bit more. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's definitely seized. Yeah, it's dry. So, okay, this is going to need a bit more work than I thought. I'll try a little bit of WD in it. Might free it up. I might have to pause the video as well, because you know what WD's like. Just a tiny little bit, doesn't need a lot, but just make sure I'm pulling the drive up so it sort of works its way down. I'll leave it propped up. Yeah, give me a couple of minutes and I'll come back and we'll see if that's gonna unseize. It may well be that bearing housing in the top part that I was on about that's got stuck is still a bit funny, but let's just do bit by bit and see you in a bit.
A few moments later.
Wow, that was lovely. She actually put salami on toast with cheese. It goes really well, I should try it. I still haven't had my coffee yet though. Anyway, yeah, Steve and I go back a bit. We don't really talk that much. But I've been following his Checkmate stuff, all his cases and monitors and that he's doing. He's done really well. And just happened to comment on his video. This one here, I'll just put a little picture. And he was saying, oh, disk drive's knackered. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll see what he says. So yeah, he sent me it. I'm really hoping I can fix this, because it's just like a nice little different challenge. It's something different. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the only one out there. Toshiba do it. I don't know. I've googled around and looked about and stuff on the net, but there's nothing else that mentions a 26 pin floppy drive, unless I'm missing something. All the years I've done PC stuff, I've never known a 26 pin, but again, it's bespoke, you know. It's unless you open a Toshiba laptop, you wouldn't know. So I suppose that's the other thing. I've seen the price of the drives; they're about 80 quid on eBay, and I think people know you're going to need it. They're going to put a price on it, because you can't swap these out. I suppose unless you go the other way, you can possibly... No, because the motherboard connector... No, yeah, it might work. If you could go round the other way, get the motherboard connector 26 pin into the 34 pin female with the power injection, you could possibly fit a normal PC drive in there. Anyway, let's see what's going on with this. Right, let's just plug it back in again. She wants to move. Alright, I'm stopping that, because that's wanting to fly all the way forward. Now why is that? Just keep my finger on the disk drive insert pin. Right. Okay, well, it's not looking too good, is it? The head wants to come all the way forward. Why is that? Let's try moving that head all the way back again. No. Okay. I mean, that choppiness might not be it might not be no, because I was going to say that choppiness on that motor may not be the motor itself. It could be whatever the board's telling it to do, like an on and off signal instead of a continuous. If something's wrong with it, but I'm finding it hard to move it back, so I think it is the motor. Or it could be a bit of both. Yeah. Let's just have a look at this a bit further. I actually, when the video stopped, I changed the frame rate, because I know, I think I've said before, when the frame rate's on normal 30 frames, I get a flicker on this camera where it's picking up the frequency of the light. So I've chucked it to 24 frames per second, and it fixes that. So I don't know if there's any caps underneath here. That's the next thing to look at. There's definitely one there that doesn't look too well. This is your stepper motor cap, and it's definitely leaked. You can tell by the way it looks. It's very dark. Yeah, it's definitely leaked. That needs changing straight away. Just see if I may well have one. So I might have to get the soldering iron out. There's nothing else around there, but I'll pull this up. I'll fast forward the video. I'll pull this up and I'll see what's under there. There may well be some more caps. I'm thinking there is, because that motor just wants to fly forward. So yeah, I'll chat in a bit. Okay, yeah, so as expected, we've got 2 more caps, and I think it's them that's possibly stopping communication. What are they? $10 microfarads. That's this one. 10 microfarads, 50 volt. Okay. This is 33 microfarads, 25 volt. Right, so I think what we'll do, we'll leave the video here. I'll get these caps. I'll make sure I've got the caps first. So I'll revisit this. There'll be a part 2. You probably didn't see it, but there's you need to pull the head ribbon cables out. Again, be really careful when you're pulling these out, because this is your read and write for your top and bottom head. That's your track 0 selection. So when I pulled this out, let's try and get it round the right way. So basically the drive sits over this that way. As I pull it forward, that is your motor plug, which goes to this. So you can just see the plug there. I pulled that out before you try pulling this PCB out. There's your little 3-pin track 0 selector. I just pulled that straight out of that connector. It just comes straight up, so it's just a push in, push out. Pin 1's that side. I don't think you get it flipped over because it's sat and it's quite a stiff wire. It's just sat the way it is. But you've got to be careful when you put these heads in. These have got to be round the right way. Okay. Normally the longer one will go round the outside of the short one. Okay, but again, when this goes in, this will probably marry up because of, you know, metal memory and all that stuff. They should marry up where they were, but we'll double check that. If I can get a schematic as well, I'll try and get one in the meantime. So hope you enjoyed that, Steve. You're probably watching this. Oh my god, please don't mess it up. Yeah, so I think once them 3 caps are done, we should be on a path of success. I'm gonna re-grease all this. I'll possibly, yeah, that motor's got to come out. I think what I'll do is I'll make a little marker line so I know where that was aligned, because again we're gonna have to take that motor out of alignment. That's going to throw the heads out, so I'll have to make a mark along there so we know where it was. Take the motor out, re-grease this bearing housing in there, take all this old grease off, lightly grease that, check the heads. We have to check the heads. I don't think the heads should be alright. They don't look too bad, and they don't look damaged. They don't look out of alignment. You can just see them in the middle there. They look pretty straight, so I think they're alright. And again, you know, the stepper motor's working. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bad fix. At least Steve's going to be saving 80 quid, I suppose. I think he said he had another drive to put in anyway. At least he'll have another one working. So yeah, fingers crossed. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, give me a few days. If I got the caps tonight, I'll do the video tonight. But I'm definitely gonna have to have a look. So yeah. Anyway, all the best. I'm still saying it because I'm still bumping into people. But I hope you had a good New Year and Christmas. And the fat bloke in white and red bought you whatever you wanted. See you later. Have fun.